Hello, happy MLK Day. Um, I wanted to come do my live because I said I was going to be a pop-up live today. So I wanted to talk with you about the hero's journey. So if you are new to the Soul Sanctuary, welcome. This is where empaths and intuitives and us deep feelers have a home. Uh, and the way that I roll and how I work with clients is always about the hero's journey. And so this may be the first time you're hearing about it. Maybe it's a refresher, but that is what I wanted to talk about today because that's what life is about. It is about a series of journeys, right? And the only constant in life is change. And so when you start to see your life as you being the hero on your journey, things start to shift for you. And you're like, okay, what is it that I have to learn here? And what is it that I need to heal and also bring back as an alchemized elixir for others? Okay. And so the hero's journey or the heroine's journey, there are two. And I like to kind of make it my own. So it's kind of the hero's journey, but then I throw in the heroine's journey also, because well, I'll get to that part when I go through the stages instead of jumping ahead. So if you're watching this live, hashtag live. If you're watching this replay, hashtag replay. Tell me where you're from. Engagement always just makes this empath soul feel better because I know I'm not just like, hello out there. But it also really does help the algorithm. So the more that there is engagement, also, more people get to see the lives, and the more I could be of service to you all. So the first step on the hero's journey, and like, if you don't think that you're the hero on your journey, like, which you are, I'm going to challenge you on that one. But you also have to, you could think of like Katniss Everdeen or Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter as we go through these steps. But the very first step, and think about like a pivotal time in your life, right? Like where you were at a crossroads, okay? And then as I'm walking you through these steps, try to identify where on the hero's journey you were at that time. Okay. So the first step or whatever is the ordinary life. Okay. There is, you're in your comfort zone, status quo, everything's complacent. You're like living your cushy, comfy life, like, but it's pretty stagnant, right? And not to say that when you're kind of like in that space, it's going to be stagnant, but like it is basically the status quo of your life. All right. Then the next phase is the call to action. This is when Harry Potter gets all those letters showing up at his aunt and uncle's house, right? And or I don't know, don't make me go through like the Star Wars or whatever, but like you're at a crossroads, right? And it could be like an invitation, or it could be a direct threat to like your safety or your family or your life or your job, right? Like you're just going to work and then all of a sudden, 25% of your company gets laid off. Okay. That is the call to adventure. Okay. That status quo has been disrupted. And as humans, we don't like that. Okay. So then the third is very important. And it's not like the hero is like, oh, great, a direct threat to my safety. Let's jump on the journey. No, the number one first thing that the hero does when confronted with this challenge is refuse the call. I don't want to do this. This is going to be too hard. Don't want to do it. Ain't going to happen. Okay. So acknowledge that part. And I know for me, when Jack, my son, died, I remember saying, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like it was too much. Okay. I was refusing the call that I knew I had to be on. I didn't have a choice, right? But I didn't want to do it. So then the next phase that comes is the, hey, 420. Sorry. The next phase is meeting a mentor. All right. This is your cheerleader. This could be your best friend. It could be your therapist. It could be your coach. It could be like whoever, like a supportive family member. And this is the person, this is your Yoda. Okay. Or your Obi-Wan Kenobi or your Dumbledore, who's like, I believe in you. I know that you could do this, okay? You could get through this, and I'm going to be that guide for you to get through it, all right? So it's essentially like you don't believe in yourself, so you need this mentor to help guide you through it. So then eventually that alchemizes that you actually believe in yourself and you could move forward, all right? So then the next phase is crossing the threshold, okay? And this is when you go, okay, I'm going to do this. And you're actually making that decision to grow and change. Okay. It is the tipping point for your growth. And growth is uncomfortable. Okay. And nobody likes it, but you're kind of like, okay, this status quo thing, it's just like you're going, all right, I don't know what's out here, and that's the fear of the unknown. And while I know everything here, like Harry living with his aunt and uncle, like that was his comfort zone, even though it was awful, right? But he knew it, and it was safe, even though it was uncomfortable. So at some point, one outweighs the other, and that fear of the unknown outweighs that stagnancy and that comfort. So then you go on the path, okay? And this is all like inner growth stuff, right? So then what happens is the universe goes, oh, okay, she's on her path. Like, look at her. She's doing it. She's like putting her money where her mouth is. And so you start to go on your path. And then what happens is the universe goes, all right, I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you and see how much you are dedicated to this growth. And so the universe literally puts obstacles and tests in your way, right? Like, oh, I'm going to, whatever. It's January and everybody's got those stupid resolutions, but it's like, I'm going to eat healthy and, do dry January, shit like that, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, out and you're like, wow, that cheeseburger looks really good. And so does that, peanut butter stout, which is, I had that yesterday. It was delicious. Just FYI. Like if anybody likes stouts, like try the peanut butter stout. That's like literally the only beer I drink. Otherwise I don't like beer. Anyway, but that's like an example of like, okay, here's a test. Are you going to do the burger and the beer, or are you going to choose a healthier version? Right. Or, like if you're trying to date a different type of person, right? And then you're like, okay, that's it. I'm only going to date people who are, X, Y, and Z. And then your old type starts to come up out of the surface and you're like, oh, here it is. Like the universe is going, what are you going to do? Right. And so it's about like the discipline and the hard work to continue to go through whatever that change is, because the universe is going to be like, all right, let's see if she really wants it, right? And so it's not just going to hand it to you. Like you got to do the hard work, okay? So that is about the tests and the obstacles. And then within that are finding out who your allies are and who your enemies are, right? Like, and those enemies, I always like to say, are really teachers. Like, okay, here's a teacher right here. This is somebody who's not supportive. And why are they not supportive? Or are they your ally? And are they the ones that got your back and who are going to walk alongside of you through your journey and through your path, right? So then you continue on your journey, life's obstacles coming through, and then you approach your innermost core, okay? This is when you're preparing for that deeper healing work, okay? And you're leaning in to your fears, you're leaning into the healing, you're leaning into your core wounds, and you're approaching the cave, okay, 2 in the hero's journey is to slay your dragon, okay? And to like conquer whatever that fear is, right? In the heroine's journey, and this is what I like to teach, is you go into that cave where you're not so much slaying a dragon and doing something externally, but that time in the cave is really for you to nurture yourself and love yourself and heal and be that little like embryo, or be that little like seed in the earth, kind of what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. And so sorry, I was getting distracted with what's down on like the bottom of the Facebook screen. I'm like, oh my gosh, there are stars now? Like I could get stars? Please give me 5 stars, people. You could see affirmations as one of my love languages. Okay, so like when you're in that cave, right? Like it's not about doing, it's about being, it's about receiving, it's about being in touch with that divine feminine and going into that deepest, darkest, stillest place within your soul so that you could regenerate and you could heal. It's like total hibernation. And I know early on in my grief process, that's like literally what I had to go into a cave. And I stayed in a cave for a really long time. And I had my guardians at the gate. And my people know who they are. And just so I could heal. Because we need that time to heal. And a lot of times in our society, we don't have that time to heal. Whether it's a death, whether it's a divorce. But we need time to heal our wounds. Because those wounds will turn into wisdom. Okay? If you allow yourself to get into that wound and heal it. So that is being in that cave. It is the dark night of the soul, okay, where you were in there and you were, I call them the on the floor moments. You were on the bathroom floor, bedroom floor, kitchen floor, whatever fucking floor it is, you're on it. And it is, again, that moment of like, I can't do this. And it's an ultimate surrender to your higher self, to your higher power, to the universe, to the divine, to God, to whatever you call your highest self. And you realize you're in this ultimate vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, in that vulnerability is where you find your strength. Okay. And so that is what the slaying of the dragon is about, is actually allowing yourself to go into the depths of your soul and heal. So the next step after that is the reward for your vulnerability. You are now stronger, you're braver, you're overcoming whatever, I don't even want to say overcoming. You're like moving through whatever the feelings are that you have, and moving through those wounds for healing. And within that, when that happens, that's where the transformation happens. That's where the wisdom happens. Okay. And that is where the soul growth happens. And so then you're like, okay, I got all this stuff. I got like the nuggets of wisdom, and I got like the, you're reaping the rewards for allowing yourself to heal. All right. Harry Potter, it's when he slays Voldemort, who keeps coming back, but whatever. Ultimately, that's his dark night of the soul. That's how he slayed his dragon, and how we slay our dragon is healing our wounds. And then you have all that wisdom, you have all that nugget, and then it's the road back. Okay. So the road back is all about using the tools that you have learned, on your journey back home. And, again, like, I'm now approaching 7 years next month, for Jack's anniversary. And, I'm in that road back home phase, right? Well, actually, I'm not. I'm actually at the 12th phase. But like, once I was able to allow myself to be in that cave, then I was like, okay, what are the tools that got me out of this, so that I could get myself back into some semblance of a new life. Okay. So then in this journey back home is when the death and rebirth happens. Okay. And so you are no longer your old self. It is the death of the old you. It is the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, right? You're no longer that caterpillar, and you've outgrown your old self, and you're in that chrysalis. Okay, you're in that, like I say, you turn into goo when you're in the chrysalis, in that cave, right? And so as humans, we are wired for struggle, and when we see that, like, we're going to be going through these trials and tribulations all our life. I mean, our first struggle in this life was literally coming through the birth canal. Okay. We're wired for struggle, but we're also wired for growth. Okay. And resiliency, and to keep going. And so the final, phase of the hero's journey is to return home, to your community with the elixir. Okay. So once you've slayed your dragon, once you've been in your cave, and the next and final step is to share what you've learned, with your community. Okay. And to give back. And so, and that's actually where I am, because of everything that I've learned in the past 7 years, as well as before that, is what I share with all of you. And so that, my friends, is what the hero's journey is all about. So I'd love to hear from you. Like, where are you? Where do you feel like you are in your own hero's journey? Like, are you in the dark night of the soul? Are you returning with your elixir? Are you living a status quo complacent life and scared to step on that path? Like, do you need a mentor? And so yeah, let me know where you're at. And as always, I want to be in service of you all. And so, or for you all, I should say, that I am doing a 6-week one-on-one with you as an offering, and it's 6 weeks, and it is with my new shine method, which is all about hypnosis and going into your core wounds and healing, so that you could heal, so that you could become more spiritually open and really have your gifts come through. So if you are interested in finding out more about it's 6 weeks, 6 one-on-ones. You get Marco Polo access to me. You get a individualized meditation from me, and my Boundaries Badass digital course as well. So if you're interested, hit me up. You could DM me, or you could drop it in the chat and let me know. And I have room in my calendar for 3 new clients. So if you're interested, hit me up. And also, let me know where you are on the hero's journey. Okay, my friends. Mwah. Have a good rest of your day.